2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, we'll get the press conference started, everybody. So take your seats if you're in the back. And athletes, be ready. Okay, we're on, and welcome to the pre-race press conference. This is the second SuperMotocross World Championship playoff round for 2025. We're the SMX Insiders, Jason Wygant, Jason Thomas. We'll explain the jackets that we're wearing momentarily. We got some exciting news that we will be revealing in a moment, but we want to welcome folks around the world watching live via YouTube and the website, as we're going to gather some of the athletes in all three classes, including SMX Next World All-Stars and our 250 and 450 classes for questions of the media in a moment. Do want to welcome the partners that help make the SMX World Championship work. That includes Monster Energy, Fly Racing, Insta360, Rocky Mountain ATV MC, Progressive Insurance, Oakley, the Army, Alpine Stars, Thor, Ufoplast, and of course the athletes, teams, and manufacturers who help support this racing, and our broadcast partner at NBC and Peacock will have the race on live tomorrow. Now, let's get to the reason for the jackets, JT. We're going to have a reveal of a motorcycle here, but probably not the type of motorcycle folks are used to seeing in the SMX League, because the grid is heating up and the countdown is on. On October 10th, worlds collide in the all-new film Tron Aries. We found a gentleman with very large arms to help us remove the cover from the motorcycle. That is the Light Cycle motorcycle. That is a prop from the movie. You can see it in theaters, but it will also be part of the Fan Fest tomorrow, so fans can go take their pictures with it. So don't miss the ride of a lifetime. That is Tron Aries, coming to theaters on October 10th. Our drone camera on the TV show and some of the graphics on the show will have Tron graphics. We always have fun with the movie intros tied in to SMX. Remember Justin Barsha driving the Ghostbusters Ecto Cruiser onto the start line at Anaheim a couple of years ago. And the reason the St. Louis race was selected to help promote Tron is the lead actor in the movie, Evan Peters, is a St. Louis native. So the motorcycle will be on display in the Fan Fest for the fans. And check the movie out on October 10th. Always cool to have other sponsors coming in and recognizing SMX and what it can do for them. JT, let's introduce some athletes.
Thank you, Jason. And let's bring out the SMX Next World All-Stars. We will have one rider representing each OEM. First up, we will have Caden Dudney. He's followed by Tiger Wood, Enzo Timmerman, Austin Schaefer, Max Shane, and Brennan Harrison. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll start off with a question for Caden. I'm aware of some type of tracks you guys prepared on for last weekend's race in Concord, but this is a different challenge. Seems like it's going to be a little bit more supercrossy than what we faced last weekend. You talk about how your preparation may have changed along with the team this week for this type of racetrack?
Yeah, no, we have the track here at Star, and just been training on that. So it was definitely like a little to adjust at first round, but this round, like same track, so I think should be good. Track looks a little slick, but fun, so we'll see.
All right, thank you. We'll open it up to the media for questions.
Cool. Hey, Michael Antonovich with course heading. This will be for Enzo. Enzo, after last week kind of getting a bridge the way that it did and you guys having two motos this weekend, how does the things change? Like, what do you think about tonight after this gets over? You know, you guys do two moto days or whatever it is at amateur races, so you can go home, regroup, and then come back the next day. How does this feel?
Yeah, I don't think much changes. Still got to race two races, and it's still the same points. So It's just the fact that we don't get a week in between the races, but we'll be on the same track, so I think it'll make for a better race tomorrow because we'll be more comfortable on the track and have some more track time.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live. I'll go to Tiger Wood on this. You obviously did a lot of SMX Next races this year indoors, so how much did you learn with this program this year, and you know, how much different do you feel now coming into this weekend?
Yeah, I think a lot, right? Yeah, to see in the track everything, it's been a little bit like more calm and just comfortable, ready to go, and yeah, no, I think it'll be good.
Scott Yarjo, Moto Now. Caden, you qualified first last weekend. Obviously, you didn't get to race the Moto. How disappointing was that for you after having pole position?
Yeah, no, it was pretty disappointing. I wanted to race. I liked racing in the mud, so I mean, I was kind of bummed not to race, but yeah, just try to do the same thing this weekend. Hopefully, it'll be the same results, and pretty confident.
So you were like ready and eager to race in the mud?
Oh yeah, I love the mud.
I'll take a question, Austin Schaefer. We ask every SMX Next World All-Stars riders this. We didn't get a chance last weekend. For you, how do you prepare for a hybrid-type track, especially this one? No one's raced one quite like this before. What was your prep?
Well, I got hurt a few weeks ago, so I didn't have much prep, but I just rode a few laps at the border, and same thing. Just keep doing Supercross.
So you're just on a Supercross track, or do they build like a hybrid section?
I was on a regular Supercross track.
Have you looked at the track today?
Yeah, I went out and looked at it today. It looks pretty good. A lot more Supercrossy than last week.
There you go. I'll ask a couple more questions, unless we have some from the media. Brennan Harrison, same thing. As far as the track and all that, what's the bigger challenge? A different type of track that anyone's ridden before, or the overall pressure, nerves of being in a building that's going to be filled and the lights and all that? What's probably going to be the bigger adjustment you think for you?
Yeah, no, definitely been training on a Supercross style track with definitely more open sections, but definitely a lot of pressure with a lot of people and the stadium, but I feel like it'll be good.
A question for Max. I think everybody's expectations or what they're going to define success by today and tomorrow is a little bit different. It's a relative thing. When you leave here tonight, going into tomorrow, and then again tomorrow night, what will success be defined by for you?
Kind of a tough question, but I don't know. The goal's out there. The goal is to just put a ton of laps in and just do my best and kind of see where it plays out. Obviously, we'll get 2 nights of racing, so that'll be good to build tonight and just keep it going tomorrow. Have good qualifying sessions, and the goal is just to ride good every time I'm out on the track.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live again. I'll go to Enzo on this one. Obviously, we go back a couple months ago, and Loretta's was fantastic for you. But how has that kind of changed your own mentality about how you approach a race weekend, given that you saw how successful you could be there?
Yeah, Loretta's was a really great week for me, but I don't think it changes much. Each race you come into, you have the same goal, and that goal is to win. So same prep coming into this one as if Loretta's didn't even happen.
Hey, Michael Antonovich again. So for Caden, Tiger, and Enzo, I can see the dirt on your shoes. Max, you too. What's it like when you guys go out there and you take a look at a stadium for the first time? Like some of these tracks that you guys race, especially as amateurs, it's the same track forever. When you go and you have to spec it out, see what's going to happen, and then start laying that plan of attack, getting into your routine for the day, how does that start?
I start by just looking at what tire I might want to run. Like I was thinking maybe a paddle, so just like how soft the track is and just kind of looking for lines that could potentially be good during the race. So yeah, it's just a lot to think about like when you're out there looking at a track, but just kind of looking for me personally, I just look for a tire that I might want to run.
Yeah, same. And then just like, I'm going to say when I first did the Supercross, like track walks and that, it was kind of scary, but it's more normal now. And yeah, just look at the lines, look at the dirt, see how wet it is, and yeah, just kind of come up with a game plan for today.
Yeah, for sure. It's a brand new track, and you have to learn the track. So I think track walk's important. Pay attention to the rhythms and all that, and see how the dirt is.
Okay, that's our SMX Next World All-Stars. They'll race today and again tomorrow. Round of applause. Next group, we're going to bring up some of the contenders in the 250 division of the SMX Playoffs and World Championship. I'll invite the riders up. These are riders that are just around that top 10 area in points, starting with Max Voland. Thank you. Nate Thrasher. Ryder DeFrancisco, Garrett Marchbanks, Cole Davies, and Jordan Smith. I'm going to go actually to Cole Davies here for the first question, then we'll open it up to the media. You actually had a pretty good race going. I know you interviewed with JT. You went down. But is there some positives you could take away from that moto? Because I think you were running second at one point.
Yeah, no, I was in second, and then one of the sweepers around the back. I just tucked the front. And then from there, I just didn't really have much to give anymore. But, no, I was riding good. Yeah, excited for this weekend.
Media.
Jeff Beaver with Whiskey Throttle Media. Sorry, first time on a mic. Garrett, how's your knee and how did the riding go this week?
Definitely really sore after the crash last weekend. Knee's getting a little better. Got some more movement out of it. On Monday and Tuesday, I rode a little bit. Wednesday, I rode probably 30 minutes on the bike and said it was good enough. So, yeah, just going to go with it this weekend and see how we do with it.
Garrett, what's the motivation there? Is it, I got to get back on this bike because these races are important. There's a lot on the line. Was there extra motivation to, if there's some way to do it, I got to do it?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I hit the ground, I was pretty mad about it just because I knew there was a lot of money that I was losing while I was laying there. And, no, I just wanted to get back after it. I mean, the first day, I didn't think I was going to be able to ride the rest of them, but I just gritted it out. We'll figure it out and get out there, but definitely want to be back in the mix battling with these guys.
Cool. Michael Antonovich, this will be for Jordan and then for Nate. You guys have this track at your practice compounds right now. So although we always look at the drag strip tracks that are so wild and out there, for you guys to get this one that's Supercross hybrid, still kind of tight, something you can figure out. How differently does it race? Like, how fast are you guys going on a practice day? Does it feel tight? Does it feel like a different Supercross? Can you just, because you have some experience on this layout already, detail that?
Yeah, it feels pretty similar to like a normal Supercross. Obviously, there's only one rhythm section, a couple more sand sections. So it's definitely an advantage to, kind of have a similar track at home. But you get here, the dirt's always different. It's way softer. Like we're on the Georgia red clay at home, and it gets like really, really hard packed after you ride it one time. So you come here, and it's a fresh built track, so it's a lot softer, a lot more rutted. But I think that this is definitely going to be like one of the most Supercross style SMX races that we've had. Obviously, the Coliseum was more Supercrossy, but this is going to be, like with it being in the stadium, not, we go out for a split second, but basically just like another sand section. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an advantage. I mean, we kind of already have the combinations down that we know we're going to, need to do for success. So I think it's going to be a little bit of advantage for us, but you still got to execute. I think it's going to be a good racetrack, definitely more Supercrossy than we've raced before. Earth track doesn't have the tunnel jump, so it's a little bit different, but it's pretty similar. So it's going to be more Supercross than we've raced, and it should be fun. I think it's going to be pretty start dependent. It's going to be tough to pass.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live. I'll go to Nate Thrasher again on this one. For you, obviously, outdoors, it was building back to getting comfortable outdoors because you'd missed a few years of it. But now coming back to this round specifically, it's more Supercrossy and you have more experience with that. Did you even feel this week with testing that you had a bit more of like your old self back again this week?
Yeah, I felt really good on the track ever since we got it. Definitely felt more at home just right away. Just had a good Supercross setting. So I think just coming back to a place like this, feel confident, and hopefully we can go out there and put a good result.
Scott Yarjo, Moto Now, rider. I can think back to like Red Bud and obviously last weekend some like probably like better performances for you this year. And then obviously in between you have maybe some, I would assume, disappointing performances for yourself. What's the difference between like the weekends that are up and good and then the weekends that are down?
Yeah, I think just coming back to a Supercross style track, I feel really confident and feel good. Our bike's good. I haven't really touched it from like Anaheim to San Diego. I hop back on the same setup and just been putting the laps down. So coming into each weekend, I feel confident, and I haven't touched the bike in a really long time. So it's good.
So you think this is kind of a motocross versus supercross thing, and this is a continuation of the version we saw at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I think it's just getting back to the version that you guys saw, and it's just a comfort thing for me. Getting back on Supercross, I feel like, I made huge steps at the beginning of the year, and hopefully get back there.
Lurch with Race Day Live. Garrett Marchbanks, I saw you on Saturday after the race in Concord on crutches, and you said you were going to ride. What did your week look like? You said it was sore when you tried to ride, but what did your week look like this week?
Just a lot of therapy and stuff like that with Doc Navarro. Went there on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to get it worked on. Hardly any cycling and stuff like that. I couldn't really cycle with it. The more I cycled, the more sore it got, so I was just trying to let it recover as much as I could. And yeah, the only thing I really was able to do was ride on Wednesday. So once I did that, yeah, I went right back to his place, got worked on, and got on a plane here.
Cole Davies, a question for you as well. Obviously, some time off in the outdoors after the injury. When you came back last week, did you feel you started right where you left off?
I don't know. I feel like
you can tell me.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel good on my bike. So I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know. You don't know. Nate Thrasher, I want to ask you this. There was a time you won at the Atlanta Speedway race, and you kind of got this rep as like, oh, maybe he's a Speedway guy. Now, this is not that. That was full Supercross. It was much more peaky. But is there something about a higher speed Supercross layout that was good for you, or did you just happen to win there?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, definitely the speedways we have now are quite a bit different. I mean, there's obviously the most technical part about Supercross, the whoops. We don't have that, so I would say that it's definitely a little bit different. But I think they've suited me pretty well. Last weekend was okay, but I think we haven't raced in SMX fully yet. So that was my first one under my belt. So I'm just looking to build on that. And yeah, these last two are where the money's made. So hopefully we can come in here and put a good showing and go to Vegas and have an even better showing and make some money.
Max Voland, not going to ask you about the handbrake because that's been done 900 times. What's Club MX do to prepare for these races? They have like 100 tracks there. So what do you guys do to get ready for this?
Yeah, for last weekend we had a full SMX track layout, which worked really well, and also being pretty much like home ground. We found a good mixture of like a legit SMX setting, which I haven't had yet on any other team. And so going into Charlotte, I felt super comfortable, and I really liked how technical the track was there. And then for this week, we just got onto the full Supercross track. We knew there was going to be a lot more bull turns, a lot more tighter. So same with suspension, just went to full Supercross for this weekend, and honestly, I felt really comfortable with it. I like my Supercross bike a lot, and yeah, it just feels more comfortable than outdoors to me. Nowadays in my career, I feel like I've transitioned into more of a Supercross guy, especially with the handbrake compared to outdoors. And yeah, being in the stadium again just is nice, and I just like the feeling of being, back under the lights and racing at night too.
Question for Garrett. Knowing you are dealing with this injury and you're going to have pain, are you going to really try to limit your laps, especially today and into tomorrow, before you actually have to go racing?
For sure. I mean, for us, or for me, it's just getting the track down quick today, possibly even just do one session. But no, just try to get a good bike set up, see how I feel, get the track down, do some good laps, and then call it a day after that. So yeah, definitely limit the time on the bike through practices.
I got one for Jordan, if you don't have anything from the media. I think you went down in the moto last week. So any residual from that, or is everything normal once you got back on the bike?
Yeah, everything was normal. I was slid out in the first turn, and then, I was kind of coming back through the pack and just slid out again back in the outdoor section. So, I'm all good from it. It's tough trying to come through the pack. There's so many fast guys in the 250 class right now. It's really stacked, and especially on these tracks, they don't separate quite as much as what I would say a normal Supercross or a normal outdoor would separate, because it's kind of in the middle. So it's really hard to make up ground if you do get a bad start. You go down the first turn. So I try to get off to a better start this weekend and put myself in a better position.
I have a question for Cole Davies. This is Thomas Ralston with 23 Media. You obviously had that serious injury in Supercross, and this track is more kind of towards the Supercross side. So how do you feel coming into this weekend knowing you kind of flow more on the Supercross aspect of their bikes?
Yeah, no, I feel good. Obviously, it's a lot more Supercrossy than the other two rounds, so I'm excited for this round. I was going good last weekend until I crashed, but excited for this weekend.
Jeff Beaver, Whiskey Throttle. This is for Jordan. You've pretty much the senior guy up here on the stage. My question is when you're going from like a day race schedule 1 week to a night schedule race the following week, is there a lot of preparation change you have to make during the week to get ready for a night race from a day race?
You're saying I'm so old I can't stay up late?
Okay, that came out a little wrong.
No. I mean, it's pretty much, you don't even hardly look at that stuff, like for me, I don't think. So it's pretty much, once you kind of get into the pits, no matter what time you get there, it kind of feels like the same because the length of the day is the same, right? So, like, once you get to the pits, like, especially here, we won't even know what it's like outside, you know? Like, we'll get here and we won't go outside all day. Like, it'll feel the same.
Anything else in the media? I think that's going to do it. That's going to do it for this 250 panel. We'll have another group. Thank you. Everybody can exit to the right. Thank you.
Call up our next group. We will start off with our winner from last weekend, Hayden Deegan. Joe Shimoda. Seth Haymaker. Tom Vial. Levi Kitchen. And Austin Forkner. Hayden, really strong weekend last weekend, but talked about the start before it. Didn't really execute the first corner the way you wanted it to, but you still were able to get to the front. In the midst of that, when you're seeing a rider like Seth Haymaker start to pull a gap, what's your thought process during that? Is it calm? Are you calculating the whole time about, I can't let him get too far? Because it seems like there is no real panic in that situation for you, and you're able to reel back in whoever it is.
Yeah, I kind of blew it. I actually had a good start and then pushed out a little wide. Is what it is. Got a little buried on that first lap. But I knew if I locked in, I could get to the lead. I seen Seth pretty far up there, so I just had to kind of lay down some burners and made my way up there.
Okay, go to the media.
Hey, Michael Antonovich, this will be for Seth. One thing that I noticed last weekend watching the practices especially was you guys really only had like 1 or 2 chances to do a fast lap time with just how big the track is. How does that set your strategy for a practice when you guys know, hey, I have this one, but if I have a cool down lap, it could take me 2 laps that I'm not even going to get a chance to try to redo that?
Yeah, last weekend was tough with how long 1 lap on that track was. And with a 10-minute qualifier, you had to really be pretty strategic on when you would throw that down. And I feel like even if you made a slight mistake that maybe you would give up on a track that was maybe a minute lap time, you still kind of had to go through that lap, even with the mistake, and get to the finish just to log that lap time in. Because you never knew if you were going to get another shot at it or what. So, and even on, like you said, the roll laps, it was, your lap time could have been a 2:30 or whatever. So it's a lot of time wasted. And even to do 2 laps back to back, I feel like a lot of guys were doing that more last weekend than at a normal Supercross, say like St. Louis today.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live. I'll go to Levi Kitchen on this one. Last week, at the end of the first moto, your speed was really strong. Like, you built up to a very strong pace. Did you do anything this week, though, to try to figure out maybe that first, 10 minutes of the moto with the start and everything to get going a little bit sooner?
I mean, not really. I ended up just we got a lot of rain in Florida, so I didn't get to ride too much. But, no, I didn't really look at my weekend like that. I actually more so, I probably raced that moto a little bit wrong, but I was also expecting to have a second moto. So I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't too stoked with I would say the middle part of the race, but still feel like I'm riding all right, and I look forward to racing in the stadium this weekend.
Stefan Legrand with TheBigUSA.com. Question for Tom. During the pro motocross season, you got some struggle with your bike settings. I mean, was it better in St. Louis, and do you think you found some solution for the next the playoff?
Yeah, I think, I've been switching back to Supercross setup for this weekend, so it's a completely different bike. So it's been working a lot better for the Supercross, so hopefully tomorrow will be good.
Scott Yarjo, Moto Now. To follow up with that, Tom, we saw you get a good start last week and kind of drop back a little bit. What happened from your perspective?
I was struggling a lot in the outdoor part, actually. I don't know, I just felt bad, just uncomfortable with the bike and myself with the reds all day. And I think I started in 3rd or 4th, and I just felt, I think I didn't even crash. I ended up 7th. It was really a bad moto for me. expected to ride the second moto to be better, of course. But yeah, hopefully this weekend we're back in Supercross. Did some change on the bike, so with the setup a little bit. So hopefully tomorrow it will be better.
Lurch Race Day Live, Austin Faulkner. Last week, very impressive. Your team believes in you. You believe in you. Did it feel good to finally silence some of the naysayers?
Yeah, I mean, it felt good. I knew that I could run up there if I just got a start. That's kind of been my main struggle point this season. Like Washougal, that was my best race before that. Started in the top 5 or top 10 both motos. So that's what it's harder for me right now. Obviously trying to not take those extra risks that could potentially get me hurt. And so coming through the pack when you're trying to kind of ride with that mindset is kind of tough because you have to take those extra risks in order to make those passes. So a good start's just more crucial for me, I feel like, at this point.
Question for really anybody that feels comfortable answering. This feels much more like Supercross, but it does have some motocross aspects, as we know, sand sections. To me, the one big change, though, is we don't have a big set of Supercross whoops or any whoops to speak of. So when you think about setting your motorcycle up, can you make any significant changes than you would, say, like if this was an East Coast round, say Triple Crown 2024, can you change the bike and make it a little bit more compliant in the motocross sections because you don't have the whoops?
I think so, yeah. I think everybody, for the most part, is going to set their bike up to corner. Normally when you have whoops, you're going to set it up to, you got to get through the whoops good too. So that's my take. I think you could run a pretty soft bike out there actually and be all right, except for that, depending if we go 3 onto that table. So, yeah.
I see a lot of head nodding, so seems to be the consensus.
Anyone agree? Joe Shimoda, what do you think? No, not having whoops, how much does that change your Supercross bike setup?
Kind of similar to what Levi said. Like, we can go pretty soft, but, I mean, the places where you can make a time is, like, I don't know, pushing through the rhythm or, like, just kind of you can make the bike to where you can send it a little bit, so you kind of want it to stiff. So depends on how you like it, I guess.
So faster may not be as comfortable in that scenario, but you still need it to be stiff to stay low in those rhythm sections?
Exactly.
All right, Thomas Ralston with 23 Media. This one's for Deegan. You were hanging out with Jake Paul this past week. How do you think that can bring more fans into moto?
Yeah, it's cool. My new hobby is boxing, so he's obviously honestly taking over that sport right now with eyes. So he invited me out, did some boxing with him and stuff, so that was pretty cool. I don't know. I feel like anytime you get a big name like that from a different sport or a different scene, you're always growing the fan base around you, so it's huge.
On the athlete side, so you're doing boxing even as a little bit of cross-training, so to speak?
Yeah, I don't really know about cross-training, but I want to learn, I want to get good at fighting because you never know what's going to go down, so that's been my hobby right now is learning how to box good. So Jake's he's a badass at boxing. When you see him box in person, I know everyone has their made-up theories of him on social media and stuff, but the dude trains his ass off and is a gnarly boxer. So when you're in there with him and following his drills and stuff, it is the real deal.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live again. I'll go to Seth on this one. You've been pretty open about the issues you've been dealing with the ulcerative colitis and things like that. How aware of it are you, like, during a race? Like, are you managing your own fitness levels each moto because you know that there's going to be a bit of a fall-off at some point?
I mean, weekend to weekend, it is a little bit different. When it's hot out, it makes the situation worse. And, this year, when I do feel that fatigue setting in, spots where I would be sending it or risking a crash or a mistake and getting hurt physically is kind of where I would pull back. And not to say like last weekend, it's like I'm obviously still trying to go for that win as hard as I can, but as safe as I can as well. And just, 2-3 laps left in that, it was like just kind of survival for me, to be honest with you. And as frustrating as that is, that's, where I'm at right now. And I'm not going to make any excuses about it and just take it as it goes. And like I said, weekend to weekend, it's a little bit different. And hopefully this weekend's a good weekend that I feel good, and we'll see what that brings. But figuring some stuff out as we go. And like I said, don't want to make excuses, and we'll be ready to go this weekend.
And this will be for Levi and Joe. Both of you guys last week had to close some ground on the guys that were ahead of you. Joe after the crash, Levi just to make the gains up there. But in watching that race, it was really interesting to see how spread out that track is, how things go, and how you're able to mark somebody. How differently does the drag strip tracks race differently than what we'll see tomorrow, which is a pretty much a traditional Supercross? How do you race it and view it?
I mean, yeah, this one, it's going to be tough because it's going to race like a Supercross, and there's going to be, 20. You're not going to see people really spread out a whole lot. So you're going to have to, I mean, like any race, the start's obviously important, but this one, whoever hole shots could have, 4 seconds on the first lap if people are kind of dicing behind. So, and that could be enough to, of a lead to just kind of go on and win the race. So, it's going to be tricky for sure because there's a lot of times whoops is where you pass, I think, in Supercross. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's going to be a lot of block pass and probably a lot of hitting people, and that's probably just how you're going to have to pass people.
I think it's going to spread out more than last weekend because the track's going to be maybe like tighter, and also I think it's going to be much shorter. There's going to be a lot of lappers, I think. But yeah, I mean, the racing is always different, right? But I think tomorrow or Saturday, I think we're going to see a lot of lappers, and we kind of have to figure out, move around on the track. So I think it's going to be a lot different than last weekend.
Austin, I think you might be the poster child for consistency in this 250 class this year. When I look back at the beginning of 250 Supercross, it was a struggle, and we were all kind of wondering when was Austin Forkner going to show up, the guy that we've seen race for years. But now we look up after one round, and you're sixth in points, which I think caught a lot of people by surprise. Does it catch you by surprise, or was there a process here where I'm just going to continue to put in points every single weekend, and I'll be there at the end?
What catches me by surprise is the fact that you just said I'm a poster child for consistency. I don't think I've been.
Well, in this scenario.
I've been farther. Yeah, no. I've been the farthest from that my whole career. So this year, I mean, yeah, I guess that's what I've been working towards this year, is to try to be there every race. And no, I mean, I obviously we only ran one moto last weekend, but that one moto for me was good, and it put me to where I'm at, like whatever you said, sixth in points. So. It's obviously with the double and triple points of this weekend and next, that can change really quick. But yeah, I'm stoked to be where I am right now. And like I was just saying, if I can just keep getting good starts and running up there with those guys, I'm still my goal all season has still been to get back into it and to run up front and continue to make progress like that. So. If I can keep doing that and in the season that way as well, then I think it's only going to help me going into next year, just that I can end it with making maybe the most progress I have all season. So.
Yeah, I have a question for Levi. I'm curious. I mean, last week you couldn't do the track walk because you wore flip-flops. How was the track walk today?
Yeah, I had some shoes, and it was pretty good. Like, track looks really good. Dirt's pretty good. So, but yeah, this is just what I like to wear. I don't really like shoes that much.
Austin, question, has your phone been blowing up more saying congratulations or, hey, do you remember me? Can I get tickets to the race being the home race?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of people that are coming, I think, or I'm probably just going to see a bunch. I haven't actually had a bunch of people hit me up for tickets. I think they did a few years ago, and that was kind of whenever the giving tickets out to the riders started to kind of be a little bit less accessible. So I kind of just tell everybody to do their own thing now. Like that's just kind of what I do. But I'm excited to see all the faces. I will see a bunch of familiar faces this weekend, probably because a lot of them are. I mean, there might be a practice at Archview up the road tomorrow. I don't know, or on Sunday, because that's what they would always do for the Supercross. But yeah, I know some of my friends are coming, so I'm excited to see them.
And what was it like throwing out that first pitch at the Cardinals game?
Dude, I don't even watch baseball. I just wanted him to catch it. I was like, even if it just bounces in front of him and try to roll it to him, I don't care. But that was whenever I heard I was going to get the opportunity to do that. That's just a cool thing to do. Anytime you can kind of dude, that's kind of just like a bucket list thing. Like if you get the chance to do that, I was not going to say no. So yeah, that was cool, and yeah, happy I got to do that.
Did you practice throwing
No, none. I didn't.
Just let it go.
I went to and I got to about right here with my shoulder, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna be as it. I just let it go. But yeah, he caught it, so whatever.
I think that's going to do it for our 250 panel. Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you. Head that way. Okay, 450 time. We'll bring some of the athletes up. That includes the Monster Energy Supercross champion, Cooper Webb. RJ Hampshire. Ken Roxon. Justin Barsha. Dylan Ferrandis. And Malcolm Stewart. Thanks, gentlemen. We're just glad to see the 2.7 on up here. We'll ask you about that in a moment. But my first question is actually for Cooper Webb. Look, I don't know if you feel this way, but all week people are saying, oh, the Supercross champs got to be so pumped to be in a dome on a Supercross, more Supercross-like track. Do you feel that way?
Oh, for sure. I like what I see so far. A lot of bull turns, good dirt, and yeah, hopefully it kind of suits my style. So it's been nice to kind of get back. Last weekend was tough, sketchy. You know, I think we've established that, but this weekend looks more, like you said, more maybe my style with the Supercross kind of layout and has everything double points and so on and so forth. So yeah, hopefully a good opportunity, big weekend.
Stefan Legrand, LeBigUSA.com. Question for Malcolm. I mean, obviously you didn't race last week because of a back injury, so I want to ask you, how are you doing today?
We're pretty sore. I mean, we're going to try to do the best we can to suit up and go out there and ride, but that's all the information I can really give you guys. We got 2 10-minute practice, and we'll determine if we're going to race tomorrow.
I guess you didn't ride at all this week, right?
No.
Cool. Michael Antonovich with course heading. This will be with Ken. Great to see you last week have that explosive speed in those early laps and just to see what you did in the moto. How did it feel for you after the summer that you had, and then what expectation does it set for these next two?
Yeah, I mean, result-wise and stuff, and riding-wise, just kind of a so-so weekend. You know, I mean, it is only the second race back from injury, and that track obviously was, you know, pretty sketchy. So, honestly, just glad to get out of there safe. I didn't want to do anything stupid, and you know, obviously these next couple of weekends are quite a bit more important than the first one since we get double and triple points. So, I also like what I see. You know, I've been a bit of a Supercross guy here in the last few years, so track looks really fun, and I'm excited for a good weekend. Honestly. You know, hopefully we can get somewhere close to the podium, but I'm really just wanting to get better every weekend, get time on my belt and racing under my belt, and yeah, go from there.
Lurch Race Day Live. RJ Hampshire, this is essentially the first time we're going to see you race Supercross on a 450. Yes, there was Daytona, but this is actually more true Supercross. What was your take after the track walk, and how long have you been working on Supercross on the 450?
I mean, Supercross style, I had 2 days this week. We added a little bit more Supercross into our SMX style track. Overall, though, it's kind of like the same going into last weekend, like a lot of question marks. I feel good on it, but you really don't know till you go racing. I feel like my setting's pretty good, but also, heck, I'll have a better answer for you after today.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live. I'll go to Cooper Webb on this one again. When it is a track like this where it's basically Supercross, but we don't have whoops and it's just one rhythm section, where do you kind of look at the track and try to find areas that are going to separate you from the rest of the pack?
I think it's like anything, right? You kind of lean on experience and so on and so forth. I'm sure it's going to break down with the amount of riders we're going to have this weekend, the way the format is with the 220s versus our typical main is 120. So obviously it's still not totally Supercross as we can see, and so I think just clean laps, and yeah, I'm hoping it breaks down a lot, and I think that'll play into to my hand a little bit.
Scott Yarjo, Moto Now. Malcolm, with so much being on the line with playoffs and money and the prestige, if this was a regular like Supercross or motocross event, would you even consider lining up with like the back and the pain that you're in?
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously to go out here and try to race is that's my job, right? But we have to be smart about the circumstances I'm in, and I don't want to injure myself. We're pretty late into the season, and if I go out there and do something really dumb, and it's only going to hurt the off season too. So again, we just gotta be smart with the decision. The team and everybody is well aware of what's going on. So we're just gonna go out there and try to do the best we can, and just be smart about it.
Kenny, as you recover from injury, still getting back to where you want to be, think about the racetrack last week and the challenges presented. Everyone was struggling, even the elite up here and the next group were struggling, mistakes every lap. Think about the challenge of this weekend, coming off an injury. Is this an easier ask going into a race like this physically?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's probably, it looks soft in some areas, so we're probably going to get a bunch of ruts, but it just seems a little bit more predictable. And then on top of that, with having a little bit more moto style track and in stadium, like it's still going to come down to intensity. I think we have a couple of split lanes, which I'm not really sure how they're going to work out because it looks like one of them goes really far out. You know what I mean? We'll see. But intensity is going to be a big thing. And yeah, like I said, it's just going to be a little bit more of a normal racetrack, I would say.
I got one for Dylan Ferrandis. So you missed some time after Supercross, but I know that almost ended up being something you maybe needed. You had been low on energy. I think that had been a thing for a while. You seemed really good when you came back. So does that continue? Do you feel better physically than you even did back last year or early this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think, fitness is coming back slowly, but obviously I think for like a year and a half I barely trained, so it's going to take some time. Really looking forward to this winter to really get my fitness back to where I belong, I think.
Yeah, so it's better than it was at the beginning of the year, but this is not the 2021 level that we saw back then.
No, I don't think so. I can feel it during the week when I practice. I definitely don't feel like I felt at my peak in 2021, but I also don't really train as hard as what I was training in 21 because I just couldn't. So, like I said, I'm healthy now and just need to rebuild my fitness to where it was.
Thomas Wilson with 23 Media. This one's for RJ. You had a phenomenal outdoor season, and you had obviously high expectations for yourself. Did you expect yourself to, I guess you would say, build that quickly during this outdoor season?
I mean, yeah, I was coming off an injury that I've been struggling with for over a year, and I knew my strength would get better, but I also, like, kind of as this progress kept going, like, I have to keep it realistic each weekend, and that's the same kind of how I was coming into last weekend. Like, you know, if I feel good, I'll battle, you know, near that top 5. If I don't, who knows where I'll be. That's kind of where I've taken it kind of each weekend. Like, last weekend, I didn't feel great, I'd say, even, you know, Saturday or Sunday, or Friday or Saturday. But no one really did, so it was kind of just, like, ride myself into wherever I'd be, and sure enough, I found myself behind, you know, Kenny late in that moto, and yeah, I took advantage of it, but overall, just stay in my lane, really, you know, see what we have this weekend. If I can be right around that top 5 again, you know, that's great, leading into, you know, Vegas next weekend.
Kellen Brower, Swab Live again for Justin Barsha. With the way that these tracks are, obviously it maybe presents a little bit closer racing because there's not as much separation. Do you like how these tracks race from like a standpoint of how you set up passes and everything like that? Because we know you like to bang bars with guys sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, on the track looked good. Obviously, a lot different than last weekend. The conditions were, like everyone said, tricky. So, yeah, I feel like the track here will race a lot better. A little more aggressive will be good. You'll have to make, you know, good passes. But all in all, I think they did a good job on the track. A lot of doubles, some sand sections to make up a lot of time in there. And, yeah, all in all, I think you want to get good starts. Last weekend for me, didn't have the greatest starts and also being uncomfortable. Couldn't really push to where I wanted to be, so looking forward to a good reset this weekend and some hard, good racing.
Question for Cooper Webb. With the fans, it's single points, triple points. The excitement sort of builds for the fans as we get to the finals next week in Las Vegas. As a rider, does the excitement build, or does the anxiety knowing it's going to be double and triple points? How do you face that as a rider?
I think for me, you don't honestly think much of it until maybe you're in the battle, like late at Vegas, right? And you're seeing the dollar signs, right? Each pass counts towards things. So honestly, I feel like last weekend you're not thinking about it. I mean, it's hard to say, but I don't think this weekend you're truly thinking about it. I think it's more that last round when you start to think like where you're kind of lining up and where you're at throughout the series and what passes mean at that point. But it's hard to do math, you know, right now when you're out there just trying to battle. So I think as it goes, yeah, for the fans, I think it's cool. Obviously, it makes it more exciting. bigger swings at the points for passes and so on and so forth. But I think the third round's when it really starts to kind of hit you like, hey, these are valuable points because they mean so much.
I'll go back to Justin Barsh on this. I know that you're a guy that likes to experiment. You're always working with either your fitness stuff or the bike to make it better, just because it's not going to stay the exact same. And although most teams like to keep you guys within a window, like click here, click there, with these SMX tracks, you guys pretty much have to throw it all at it to figure out what's going to make it the right way. So what's it like to go work with the team when you guys are trying to find a setting that maybe isn't working, and how you guys communicate that, what you explain that you want, and then what they tell you they can give you? Like, just knowing your interest in trying to crack the code, what's it like?
Good question. Yeah, that's really good. I haven't been really riding during the week. I was having some issues in Florida with bike stuff and wasn't really comfortable, so just been taking some time off riding during the week, just race on the weekends. I went to California before last weekend, and I think it's a little bit challenging testing in California. The track's been sitting all year. They're hard packed, pretty baked, and then you get to something like Charlotte, and it's completely different. So that threw us off big time. But coming in this weekend, we're going to hop on some Supercross suspension, like where we left in season. And I think we probably improved some things there since we left off what my last race was Jersey Supercross. Yeah, I think it's tricky, man. It's hard to simulate like a race like last weekend. But coming into a race like this, it's more Supercross with a little extra sand and a little more speed. So I think all in all, everyone's going to be quite happy with, being close on their Supercross setting where they left off in Supercross.
Question for Justin Barsha and all the dads up there. Everyone thinks of you as a racer, but you got family time yesterday. Tell us about the experience at City Museum.
Yeah, it was cool. The City Museum was, that place is crazy. If you've never been, you definitely need to go. It's not just for the kids. There's so much to see, and you could lose your kid for sure if you didn't have a good arm. There's tunnels everywhere and things like that. But all in all, yeah, it's cool to have this time, an extra day. We, come here on Thursday, middle of the day, go explore, see the city, and then today's pretty lax for the most part, just do some practicing, and then the show's tomorrow. So yeah, it's good to have the family here and have some fun before the race.
I think that's it. That's our 450 panel. Thanks. You guys can exit to your right.
We'll bring up our final group. First up will be last week's winner, Jet Lawrence, Chase Sexton, Justin Cooper, Hunter Lawrence, and Eli Tomac. Welcome, guys. Jet, you really didn't get to ride this 2025 chassis on East Coast Supercross. So when you think about trying to set up the motorcycle, you're going to lean on trying to talk with Hunter, work through things, and also where does choosing between a traditional tire and a scoop tire factor into those decisions as well?
I feel like the decision of tires now is kind of out the window. I feel like it's always paddle now with a lot of the dirts. It's the paddles kind of came a long way, I feel like. But yeah, we had a good feel last year in SMX with our bike, and obviously a little bit of testing in Supercross with our chassis. And at the last round before we got hurt, when the bike kind of felt the best, personally. So obviously it's a little bit of getting some stuff from there, but we have a lot of good settings we got from last year in SMX, so we're more off of that and did a good amount of testing before this. So the bike feels really, really good. It feels reliable. We kind of know what it's going to do, which helps a lot in knowing what your bike can do and how it reacts off of certain things. So yeah, feels good.
Media.
All right, Michael Antonovich, if I can get the top four from last weekend just to talk about you guys staying within 10 seconds of each other after a 20-minute race in those conditions, the wind coming through, and it being 10 seconds, that gap that's right there, you can all see each other. So if I could go from Hunter to Eli, Chase to Jet, can you guys talk about what it's like to be in that pack, know your competition's right there, that you haven't lost the toe, and what it's like to race within that style track?
It's very tricky, obviously. We're all pushing as fast as we can, and you feel like you put one really good lap together where you just make 0 minor mistakes, and you might pull in 1/10 or like half a bike length, and you're like, all right, this is going to be one of those races where it's like death by 1,000 cuts, just keep trying to chip away. But it was tricky at the end when the wind picked up. I was honestly just using Eli as a reference point where the wind would blow him in the air to how much I would then, make the adjustment. But yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah, that's just how I feel like it. The way that the depth of the field is, it's kind of just what it is nowadays. It's going to be close no matter what. It's hard to really have a huge blowout in any of these races. So, but yeah, there was some wind at the end of that. Definitely had to kind of lean into it. But hey, we got through it.
Yeah, I think on that track too, like there was kind of a limit to how hard you could ride it. I think early in the race you could be a little bit more aggressive, but once we started getting later into the race, the wind, I jumped the double before the mechanics area and went from one side to the other. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. And there was tough blocks laying everywhere. But before that, like even the ruts, I think we're starting to get to a point where you couldn't override it, and that track could really bite you. So I think it was just one of those things where you're trying to make up as much time as you can, but you also have to be smart and not do anything dumb.
Yeah, I think the conditions had a big play with it. Obviously, it was only for 25 points, single points at this point, so we weren't willing to risk it. I think you could gain a lot if you really wanted to push the envelope and try to do something, but I think this risk factor was really going to outweigh it and had a good chance to end on your head. So I think everyone just kind of like, we just picked as close as we can to the limit that was safe enough, and then you more so just kind of gain time if anyone made a mistake. It was very easy if you asked for too much to make a mistake where your foot peg grabs or fork lug. So it was, you more so made time off of those kind of things. It wasn't so much of I'm just going this much faster, So it was like a real chess match, I feel like that Charlotte was. But no, tomorrow's racing should be really fun.
Kellen Brower, Swap Moto Live. I'll go to Jet again. I just want to take you to take us into your mindset a little bit during the race. Like you said, it's a chess match a little bit, but they kind of caught you for a minute, and then you laid the hammer back down. Like, what's the mindset that you're going through of how close are they? Like, are you marking them the whole time, and they got close, or did they catch you by surprise?
Yeah, I obviously have my marks where I know where they're at and stuff like that, where I can catch a glimpse of them quickly, because obviously it's pretty hard to see when they're that close, So, and I think the time I lost the most was when the wind started to pick up. I kind of got a little cautious, and I had every line I picked, I felt like there was a tough block in it. So that was a bit of a struggle. But yeah, I mean, like Eli said, everyone's pretty close in speed right now, so it's pretty hard to like go and just put 5 seconds easily. It's more so off like how HJ said with kind of death by 1,000 cuts. So you're just trying to make the least amount of mistakes, and that's what I kind of, when I lost all that time, it was kind of like, all right, where can I gain time and where can I not? And it was very difficult to find certain spots where I can go and push in a way. So, yeah, I was just trying to get everything smooth and clean.
Scott Yerja, Moto Now. Justin obviously crashed in the first lap in that moto last weekend. How devastated were you that they canceled the second moto?
Yeah, we would have had some tough conditions, that's for sure, but I definitely needed it. Considering what happened, it was just unfortunate. Yeah, I got stuck under the bike, and there was really nothing I could do. I kind of just had to wait for some help, and yeah, with the way the track was too, it wasn't like I was gonna, take too much risk to get all the way back up to where I could. There was kind of like a set of riders I could get through, and there was a pretty big gap from there on. So kind of just played it smart and was kind of just gonna wait for the second moto, but obviously we didn't get that chance. So. Yeah, it was definitely unfortunate, but if I was going to have a bad round, that was the one to do it at.
And how I guess painstaking was it waiting for the decision to be made for those couple of hours, knowing you really wanted to go out there?
Yeah, it was. I kind of seen it coming. It was getting later and later, and they didn't run any of the motos yet. The 250s hadn't really gone up, so I knew it was going to be fighting daylight and all that stuff. So it was definitely coming down to it, and I kind of seen it coming, but. Was, yes, definitely still optimistic that it was going to happen, but, yeah, we didn't get that chance.
Eli, when I think about St. Louis, go immediately back to 2024 Triple Crown here, and even on Friday, it really seemed like you turned a corner, aggression was back, and the Eli Tomac that we've known to come and love was there. Can you go back to that exact same setting you used a year ago, and when you walk in the building, do you get that same good feeling you left here with then?
I hope I'm at least to that level, but I feel like our motorcycle in the beginning of this year was even better for Supercross. So, of course, we're going to start there, see where we end up, but I think it's actually even better than that 24 race.
Thomas Rawson with 23 Media. This question's for Jet and Hunter. So riders in the past have designed tracks, and if you guys were able to design this track, what would you guys change, and would you guys put whoops into this track?
Honestly, I haven't really seen the track layout, so I don't know what it's fully like, but, I mean, I don't know. Feel like some sick doubles and jumps, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. I have no idea where the track goes or what the layout, which direction. So we're going to find out very shortly, though. So, yeah.
I want to follow that. I think it's one of the most unique things I've heard is you and your brother don't really get into the track walk side of that. Can you speak a little bit more to that? Because we talked to the SMX Next World Allstars. Enzo Timmerman talks about how important it is to walk the track and learn it and understand it before he goes out. But it seems like you and Hunter approach that a different way.
Yeah, I feel like when you walk the track, you're like looking at stuff, oh yeah, I can do this, do that, but it's like when you're on the bike, it kind of looks completely different to how you walk it. So we just find that we're better off learning it when we're doing that first roll lap and just kind of going off of that, you know, like, because yeah, there's been multiple times where back in 21, the last time I walked the track, I'd walk and go, yeah, we're going to go 3 in here and do this, and you get to the practice and it's like it wasn't even close to doing that. So we just found that we just learned better when we just kind of go in a little bit blind, use the roll lap. All right, this is this and this and that.
Hey guys, Jack from Cycle Drag. Just curious, what's everybody think about St. Louis, and does anybody get to do anything fun while you're here?
We get to race our dirt bikes.
So no museum stops for you guys?
Unfortunately not.
I'll follow up with Eli on that one. This place for the Supercross is always known as having great dirt. JT's been making the point that it's a different time of year, so we're not sure if it'll be the same. But in the past, at least, what do you think of the dirt here? Because usually the riders rave about it.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. Because it used to be the best dirt.
Ah, okay.
It's changed in the last like 3 or 4 years, so something's changed. It actually gets a little bit softer now, and maybe a couple more rocks in it. But old times, it was like the most pure, perfect dirt, in my opinion. But I don't think we have it anymore, so I don't know what happened.
These poor guys might have never raced on that. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
All I know is it used to be the best.
Have you thought about how different it could be racing March, April versus now, where it's probably been sitting outside in the summertime? Could that change it?
Yeah, it could change it, yeah.
We don't know for better or worse, but we'll see.
I was on the golf course yesterday, and the fairways were really soft. So
okay.
Maybe they've had rain, maybe they haven't. Could be soft, lots of ruts, but maybe they brought the dirt back just for old time's sake.
Sounds like you did have fun.
Maybe, who knows?
Oh, that'd be nice. Sounds like you did have some fun while you're here.
No, I played terrible. It sucked.
Oh, couldn't even get that.
Well, just
have something.
I was walking around looking at tire choice, Weege, as you know I do. I see 3 over here with the scoop tire, the Hondas and the Eli Tomac bike for Chase and Justin Cooper. Is there thoughts of going back to that, or are you going to play it by ear? But from what I've watched with both of you, if you can go traditional tire, it seems like you want to go there if you have the choice.
Yeah, I actually ran the traditional tire last weekend.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I was probably one of the only ones to do it. I prefer it, the traditional tire, but sometimes we have to run the scoop tire. I think on a Supercross style track, I think it's fine to get away with the traditional tire. If it's like a rip start, then you kind of need that paddle for the position.
Yeah, I mean, the track doesn't have, there's some sand on it, but it's mostly Supercross, and then the turn they put in the hallway over here, I think we're going to be on the concrete, so I think I'll probably put in the slick on later.
Just to follow that, when the start is hard packed like it will be here, is it less effective for that straight line drive than what you'll be running today?
I'm not really sure. I've been arguing with Tom all week about it because he's the typical, I'm putting the scoop on if there's any loam, he's putting the scoop on, and we practice a lot together, and as soon as he puts that thing on, I know the berm's going to be gone. So I just try and not run it as much as possible, but I guess we'll see. If it's an advantage, I'll be putting it on, but if it's not, then you'll be seeing me with the regular tire.
Question for Hunter Lawrence. Statistically, the second stop of the playoffs, you really seem to gain momentum. The previous 2 have been outdoor track setups with Chicago and Texas. With this second stop being Supercross, do you find yourself getting momentum after you get that first playoff under your belt?
I don't know, really. Like, maybe it's just coincidence, but you need to get better throughout the series because obviously the points just increase each round. Now we're double points, and then the next weekend triple points. I like the pressure. I like the fact that, hey, you have to perform on this night, and it's like a winner takes all kind of thing. It's a lot of pressure on a lot of guys, and I like that to bet on myself and go out there, and I get to race a dirt bike. So it's pretty epic. Love what I do, and I know it's just fun. It's just fun, the stakes and everything.
This one's for Chase Sexton. I know that indoors and outdoors you kind of played around with bike setup a little bit on both, and you've only done 4 SMX races on the KTM so far, but what's the window like? Have you found it to be a little bit easier to find a comfortable setting on this bike?
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I think in the last 2 weeks I've been pretty comfortable, and I've had some of the best weeks on the KTM that I've had in the last 2 years. So it's been fun, and it's just it's been really enjoyable to have fun riding again. So I don't know, we'll see. I think last weekend the track was really hard to set your bike up for because it was so soft, so you couldn't really get away with running something softer suspension wise. And then this race, it's going to be pretty supercrossy, especially with that one rhythm. It's pretty big. So I don't know. I think this weekend will be supercross, but then next weekend it could be hard pack and pretty outdoorsy. So you just play it by ear. But right now I'm pretty happy with how I feel on the bike and yeah, with how I'm riding.
Hey, Justin, for you, you really quietly debuted the 26YZF last weekend. So what was the decision behind that, you being the #1 seed, to go onto a motorcycle that's a little bit different and has its own nuances? What was the motivation for that? And then what did you figure out the bike does differently than the 25?
Yeah, it's just a new challenge, and I had the opportunity to debut it. And, yeah, I've been riding it quite a bit. And, yeah, started riding it at the end of Outdoors and didn't get to race it until last weekend. So, yeah, just a new challenge and, you know, trying to get some feedback going into next year and, you know, get a little bit of a head start on it.
Stefan Legrand, TheBigUSA.com, a question from for Jet. Jet, it seems that you can do anything you want on your bike. You're very comfortable with it. How fast do you think you could go on the bike in front of you, the Tron bike?
Yeah, so as you can see, this is the 2035 Honda, and we've been testing it so far. It's a little rigid for sure. Steering, it's not the best right now. It doesn't turn quite sharp. And also it doesn't get a lot of traction with the slicks. So
scoop tire or not?
We're actually going to change it to a dune tire, the big scoops. We found it got a lot of traction with that. So I think yeah, maybe next year you might see us on this with a dune scoop.
Okay, thank you.
Are we going to top that? I don't think that's going to be top. That's our press conference. Thank you to the 450 SMX athletes, both groups. We'll give a couple of reminders about tomorrow's schedule. It is a night race. Race day live qualifying coverage will kick off on Peacock live at 1:30 Eastern time. 6:30 Eastern live pre-race show. Again, you can watch that on Peacock. And then racing starts at 7 o'clock Eastern. That's 8 o'clock here Central Time in St. Louis. Of course, Peacock or the SMX Video Pass outside the United States. Go to supermotocross.tv. That's available in multiple languages as well. And there will be an encore presentation, if you're watching at home right now, on Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern, a NBC re-air. So tell your friends, if they're not traditionally watching on Peacock, that they can watch on NBC and catch Supermotocross World Championship there. He's Jason. I'm Jason. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow, everybody.